Peace. I'm sitting here thinking, right? And it's really, really important to maintain your it's like a perception of self. It's, in a sense, it's like the way you perceive yourself. So a lot of people, and a lot of people don't admit this, but a lot of people don't know or understand perception of themselves. Like, they don't understand perception of self. When you don't understand perception of self, it's hard for you to understand how you're perceived or how you're received, and you're very confused about your position no matter where it is you are. It causes a lot of anxiety. These individuals usually have personality disorders. We call them bipolar, or aloof. Normally they suffer from depression. This is because they lack perception, perception of self, which is very, very important, because perception of self ties you yourself to your identity. So in a sense, it connects you to your soul. It's a how is it, so to speak? It's like, I guess, you being in your, like you being in control of your avatar, instead of it just, being your avatar, being controlled by the environment. You get what I'm saying? Because in a lot of instances, these individuals allow the environment to influence their perception of self, which causes like a rift or a break in their grasp on their sense of perception, which disrupts their expression of their personality, which in turn causes a dissociative identity disorder and or a loss of perception. They don't know who they are. A lot of people don't know who they are. When you're out and you're doing a lot of hoeing and stuff like that, and this is men and women. You don't know who the fuck you are. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. You don't know who you are. You're out there. You're aloof. You're one night you're cocaine girl or whatever, and then another night you want to do this over here, and another night you want to do this, and you can't really latch on to anything. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with guys. You know what I'm saying? One night you're over here and you wanna sleep with this girl, then you want to do this with this girl, then you want to do this and do that, and you got perception. Your perception's all, you're getting all drunk all the time and all messed up. You don't know what's up, what's down. You know what I'm saying? And you know your perception of self is fucked up. Because if anybody asks you to do anything that involves you, like kind of like being a role model or anything like that, you don't ever want to take those positions. You don't want to take those positions because hey, I'm not the one that anybody should be looking up to, because I'm not the person, because I already know deep down inside I have some kind of issue with me that affects my perception of self. And if you were to say that I'm a role model, that automatically tells me you want me to project that on somebody else. And I already know I can't do that, because I already know I have an issue with my perception of self. So when it comes down to it, it's very, very important, to understand your perception of self and where you stand in the universe and what your purpose is. Because if you don't, you're going to be lost. And you're going to be doing things you don't want to do that don't align with you to try and compensate for this loss or feeling that you have inside of you because you lack perception of self. I was really that's why and it's funny I'm even going to say this, that's why people lack on to religions and stuff like that. And that's why spirituality is so hard. And I'm being serious. And I'm explaining like this, really simple so everybody understands, okay? Religion, it already comes assembled. No assembly required. Spirituality, it does not come assembled. You have to assemble that yourself. You have to assemble you yourself. And the thing is like that. Listen, check it out. Check it out. Listen, right? You want to go and find or go and get this perception of self that's well packaged? Pick one. Pick a religion. I'm going to go into that structure. And you see these people, you know, their life gets structured. Yes, you can go into religion or Islam or whatever, and it's like, you know, Islam changed my life, Christianity changed my life, and it will. Why? Because it gives you a perception of self. It gives you something to grasp onto. You're able to align yourself with a structure. So it gives you a foundation. Spirituality is different. Spirituality is different because you can't just go on over to it and have a pastor, a deacon, a structure, a time, a this, a that, the third. You cannot do that, okay? You cannot do that. You have to align yourself with that perception. If that is truly in you, you have to go in yourself and find that. You're going to have to go in yourself and you're going to have to detox. You're going to have to cleanse. You're going to have to, you know, find your way, you know, with your crystals, your incense, your saging, your, you know, your Reiki, your crystal bowls, you're going out in nature and grounding yourself and so on and so forth. You literally have to tap into that to align yourself with your perception of self. And in turn, you actually have to find yourself. Okay? Spirituality is different. All right? In all honesty, I ain't even want to go all the way over to the spiritual whole, you know what I mean, spiritual religion thing, but yeah, man, it was I had to touch on that because, you know, it went into that range. But for real though, it's really important to understand your perception of self and how it applies to this universe. You know? It changes your awareness and what it is you do in life and how you feel about yourself. And key word is how you feel about yourself. A lot of people are dealing with anxiety and depression and they can't get through life and they can't get to the next stage because of their disconnection with their self. They don't know necessarily who they are or what it is they should be doing, you know? A lot of us were told what to do. Our environment influences our perception of self and disrupts our natural order of what it is we would like to be doing. So that in turn causes a discord which we have to fight in order to get back to finding ourselves. That's what this whole consciousness, everybody waking up thing is. That's what this whole thing is, man. That's what this whole thing is. This whole thing is us breaking away from that psychic attack on our perception of self, of who it is they would like us to believe we are, burst on who it is we actually are. And now that we're actually coming into who we actually are, some of us are being faced with depression and anxiety because we're understanding that we were deceived, that we were lied to. You understand? We're human beings. If anybody, starts to come into perception of self and they start to become aware of these things and they start to understand how their mind and environment and food and so on and so forth have been manipulated, it causes them to recalibrate how it is they interact with their environment. And that's what we're doing right now. Because of this information, we're going, oh, wait a minute. All right, if that's that, then I'm gonna have to do this to perceive myself as this, because this is my perception of self now, so I'm not gonna be doing that. So in a sense, because of our reaction to our environment, our perception of self is starting to change. That is if we're aware of it. Because if you're not aware of it, then you don't get that evolutionary bump, consciously. You have to be aware of it, That's why everybody who is awoke and or conscious already knows that it's not for everybody. What it is I'm talking about is not for everybody. Everybody's not going through it. But for those of us who are, you understand what Damian Michaels is talking about right now. Yo, I gotta go in here and gotta go to work. I'll talk to y'all later. Ooh boy.